Phones off, please, or on silent before we begin, so that we don't interrupt the speakers. Thank you. Colleagues and friends, thank you for joining us on this very special day, the Center for Translation Studies' 10th anniversary. This celebration coincides with my sabbatical leave, so I'm really not supposed to be here. I want to thank my colleague Dina Hishmat for giving me the floor today and for shouldering the responsibilities of the Center during my leave. This event and the celebratory volume that accompanies it are supported by the Office of the Provost and the organizers of the Centennial Academic Program at the American University in Cairo. I am especially grateful to Associate Provost for Research, Innovation and Creativity, Alauddin Idris, for his enthusiasm and help every step along the way. I'm also grateful to our former and present deans, Rob Switzer and Zainab Taha, for facilitating many aspects of this celebration. We owe our existence as a center to Lisa Anderson, former AUC Provost and subsequently President of AUC from 2011 to 2016. I am indebted to her for her unwavering commitment to the center and its work. I want to dedicate this evening to Dennis Johnson Davis and Bashir Sibai, two giants in the field of translation who are no longer with us. They are both sorely missed, but we are honored that they are among the contributors in the anthology. The life of the Center for Translation Studies intersected fairly early on with a historic moment in Egypt, namely the January 2011 uprising. The revolutionary energy that accompanied the early years at the center infused it with a determination to resist and persist, despite institutional and budgetary constraints. In doing so, it has opened up uncharted territory beyond the confines of academic programs and has widened the parameters of its engagement with translation as well as its regional and global networks. For the most part, the Center's mission and partnerships were shaped by this historic revolutionary moment in the country. This is true of the diversity of disciplines, perspectives, methodologies, speakers, and partners we have hosted and collaborated with, as well as the very nature and concerns of the projects undertaken throughout the Center's short history. For 10 years, we have endeavored to foster a very broad and inclusive understanding of what translation means and how it impacts so much of what we do. We have curated and hosted lectures from fields as diverse as post-colonial theory, gender studies, media and film studies, linguistics and minority languages, political science, history, visual arts, law, photography, dramaturgy, diplomacy, urban studies, creative writing, literary criticism, and of course, translation and translation studies. Yeah, it's okay. In many ways, the lectures provided a venue for mutual discovery for all of us, lecturers and audiences alike. It's okay. I personally have learned a tremendous deal over the past 10 years. One of the most prominent aspects in the life of the center has been to empower and showcase the work of young scholars and graduate students and to foreground the importance of dialogue and collective, collaborative work in translation. We have done so through workshops and symposia in Egypt and abroad. And we have also published our students' outstanding work, some of which is part of the anthology, today's anthology that is outside. Not to mention the anthology of essays by AUC students entitled Translating Egypt's Revolution, the Language of Tahrir, published by AUC Press in 2012, an anthology that has become a reference work in many classrooms around the world. 10 years seemed like an appropriate moment to celebrate these accomplishments and to honor the lecturers who sustained the life of the center. I could think of no better way than to showcase their inspiring work in this celebratory volume entitled In the Shoes of the Other, Interdisciplinary Essays in Translation Studies from Cairo, a title that already provokes and invites questions of translation. I want to thank all our contributors and translators profusely for having given so generously of their time, research, expertise, and energy. You are the true lifeline of the center. It is your names and accomplishments, trust and solidarity that have made the center, this celebration, and this book possible. The screen over here in a moment will be running slides of all of the contributors and the lectures that they actually delivered at the center. The anthology itself is divided into 6 parts. The essays included in each cluster make sense together because they focus on a broadly defined theme. But as readers engage with the anthology, they will also find important connections and interrelated issues across the different clusters. Part 1 is entitled The Translator, Memories, Testimonies, and Reflections. Includes testimonies and reflections by major translators from Arabic into English, but also French and Italian into Arabic. Part 2, Translation, Migration, and Identity, brings together essays that will dwell primarily on the relationship between translation, power, and identity in a globalized world. Part 3, Literary Translation, Challenges and Opportunities, focuses on the shifting pressures on Arabic literature through a wide variety of literary traditions and texts. Part 4, on Carrying Across, Languages, Cultures, and Registers, engages multiple strategies and challenges of carrying across from one culture to another, various linguistic idioms, registers, and metaphors, and how these travel between different languages, both synchronically and diachronically, and within different contexts of power. Part 5, Translation Across Disciplines, includes essays that explore the political and cultural impact and value of a wide range of disciplinary translations and reassesses the place and stature within Arab culture and at a global level of entire fields of knowledge. Finally, Part 6, The Stage, the Screen, and the Languages in Between, includes hands-on essays by scholars and practitioners of translation in the visual and performative fields of theater, cinema, dubbing, and subtitling. The contributors explore problems of translation, including Arabization and Egyptianization of texts, as well as the challenges, constraints, and opportunities provided through their creative adaptation within the target context. The volume, of course, is outside and available for sale. The anthology counts 35 contributors who represent less than 1/3 of the speakers hosted by the center over the past 10 years. But even that 1/3 was a huge undertaking. Eleanor Ellis, my assistant editor, who is here, came especially for the occasion all the way from the US. She has been the driving force behind this anthology. Her enthusiasm for the project, her astute attention to detail, and her unwavering commitment have made this challenging undertaking a real joy. I am indebted to her for making this dream of a celebration a reality. I am also grateful to our copy editor, Katie Holland, and our proofreader, Laura Gribben, who is also here with us, for their excellent work. We are delighted that Huda Lutfi's artwork, Variations on the Elif, and Huda is with us tonight, adorns the cover of the book. I hope that you are pleased with the choice and the end result. We are proud that this anthology is published by Al-Kutub Khan, one of Egypt's leading independent publishing ventures. Many thanks to Karam Youssef founder of Okotopren, and her team for taking on this publication and making it a success. And Karam is also with us this evening. For 10 years, Iman Zarif, who is probably outside, where is she? She's right there. Iman Zarif, the administrative assistant at the Center for Translation Studies, has been the guardian angel of the center. She has ensured effective work practices from the managerial and financial to hospitality and mentorship for our student assistants. No words can suffice to thank her for single-handedly shouldering all the responsibilities of the center. Within the AUC community, I am indebted to dozens of people, to all the AUC custodians, security personnel, technical assistants, student assistants, and staff across the university. I owe immeasurable gratitude. Much, if not all, of what we have accomplished at the center depended on their expertise, professionalism, and dedication. Finally, I wish to thank the audiences who attended our events over the past 10 years. The discussions and conversations that develop after every lecture are at once heartening, inspiring, and edifying. Without this sustained and enriching interest in the center's work, none of it would have been possible. Beyond the center's 10th anniversary and book launch today, we are actually gathered this evening to celebrate the field itself, translation and translation studies. 6 of the contributors to the anthology, with very different professional orientations, have graciously accepted to share their perspectives on the field, past, present, and future. I will briefly introduce them in the order of their presentations, and then we'll speak no more, I hope. Our first speaker is Lisa Anderson, former president of AUC. Unfortunately, she could not be with us today, but has found the time to send us a pre-recorded video that we will be showing momentarily. Our second speaker is Ahmed Abouazi, former Minister of Culture in Egypt and Professor of Archival Studies, Faculty of Arts, Cairo University. His presentation is entitled Translation into Arabic in Egypt, a Historical Perspective. Our third speaker is Mona Baker, Professor of Translation Studies, University of Manchester. She will be addressing translation and interpreting studies, past and future trajectories. Our fourth speaker is Anwar Maurice, Professor of Philosophy, Helwell University, and the Director of the National Center for Translation. His presentation is on the policies and politics of translation. Our fifth speaker today is Feriel Razoul, Professor of English and Comparative Literature at the American University in Cairo. Her presentation is entitled Translation, a Passion for Knowledge and a Yearning for World Culture. We end the panel with a presentation by Humphrey Davis, the leading translator from Arabic into English. His presentation is appropriately titled, You've Come a Long Way, Baby. Before I give the floor to the panelists, let's have a round of applause to congratulate everyone who has made this evening possible. We will begin with Lisa Anderson's short video, please.
I'm delighted to congratulate the Center for Translation Studies on its 10th birthday. It has been a remarkable journey and a source of pride and amazement to all of those who were present at the creation. Obviously, we're particularly grateful to its animator, she who imagined, created, and advocated for the center from well before it even existed, and who has persevered in the face of skepticism in virtually all quarters, Samia Mehrez. But the center is something more than Samia's remarkable creation, wonderful as that would be if it were all. It is a testament to the urgency and importance of understanding, or at least trying to understand, that is the heart of the mission of an institution like the American University in Cairo. As all translators know, and as everyone whose words have ever been interpreted or translated know, understanding is always and intrinsically imperfect. Translation makes one humble. But the trying, the effort itself to understand, is also among the most noble human endeavors. Why else do we have universities? Why else do we question and teach and research and question again, but to translate what is there in the world into something we can understand? And especially so when the university, its faculty and students alike, are deliberately and self-consciously operating in two languages, in two cultural worlds, in two traditions of literature and art and music. For virtually everyone at AUC, daily life is an exercise in repeated micro-translations. This is something to celebrate, to boast about, to study and applaud and honor. The center embodies that, both the humility and the pride of a life between worlds. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to profit from my exposure to so many individuals of such talent and sensitivity through the center while I was in Cairo. I regret not being with you today, but I look forward to enjoying some of the fruits of this decade of work in the celebratory volume. Best wishes and many, many happy returns. Kul sana wa antum tayyibin.
مساء الخير. شكرا يا سامية على دعوتي للمشاركة في اليوم الجميل ده. الموضوع اللي هتكلم فيه محاولة لإلقاء نظرة تاريخية سريعة على الترجمة للعربية في مصر. من بدايات القرن ال19 كان دايما بيصاحب كل محاولات وتجارب التحديث في مصر مشروعات طموحة للترجمة، كانت بتهدف بشكل أساسي لنقل أحدث ما صدر في الغرب من إنتاج فكري، باعتبار أن الغرب أضحى مركز لحضارة عصر الثورة الصناعية. ارتبط المشروع الأول للترجمة بمحاولة محمد علي لبناء أسس الدولة الحديثة. كان مشروع تأسيسي رائد ساهم فيه المبعوثين اللي أوفدهم محمد علي لأوروبا لتلقي المعارف الحديثة، وحمل عبء التخطيط لهذا المشروع وإرساء قواعده رفاعة الطهطاوي، اللي أنشأ مدرسة الألسن علشان تكون أول مؤسسة تعليمية حديثة متخصصة في إعداد المترجمين وتأهيلهم لنقل معارف الغرب الحديثة إلى اللغة العربية. سرعان ما انضم خريجين مدرسة الألسن للمبعوثين الأوائل في القيام بمهمة الترجمة. المشروع ما قامش على أكتاف المبعوثين وخريجين الألسن فقط وغيرها من مدارس محمد علي، لكن شارك في بعض موظفي الدولة ممن يجيدون اللغات الأجنبية، خصوصا اللغة التركية اللي ترجمت عنها بعض الكتب في هذا المشروع، بالإضافة إلى بعض المترجمين الشوام. عصر محمد علي شهد تحول لوظيفة المترجمين من ترجمة المراسلات والوثائق في دواوين الدولة المختلفة وفي محاكمها إلى ترجمة الإنتاج الفكري في مختلف مجالات المعرفة الإنسانية. والأمر ده بيعد وصل لمن قطع من تراث الحضارة العربية. ازدهرت حركة الترجمة الأولى ونشطت في القرون الأولى للهجرة، ولعبت دور مهم في تطور الثقافة العربية وازدهارها. بدأت الجهود الأولى في العصر الأموي في عصر على إيد خالد بن يزيد بن معاوية، اللي استعان بمترجمين من السريان والأقباط والفرس لنقل التراث العلمي إلى اللغة العربية. وفي عهد الخليفة العباسي المأمون وكذلك في زمن الدولة الفاطمية في مصر تمت ترجمة جزء كبير من التراث الإنساني المتاح وقتها من معارف الإغريق والفرس والهنود والسوريان وعلومهم، فحدثت النهضة في الثقافة العربية الإسلامية، وأصبحت اللغة العربية في هذه الفترة هي لغة الثقافة والعلم في العالم القديم في العصور الوسطى. امتلأت دور الحكمة ومكتبات القصور ومعاهد العلم بالترجمات جنبا إلى جنب مع مؤلفات الكتاب العرب أو اللي عاشوا في ظل الحضارة العربية. مع انكسار الدولة العربية الإسلامية وتراجعها السياسي والحضاري، تراجعت حركة الترجمة إلى العربية إلى أن جاء مشروع محمد علي التحديثي متضمن في جزء أساسي منه مشروع للترجمة. لو رجعنا للدراسة القيمة اللي أجراها سنة 1946 المؤرخ المصري الدكتور محمد جمال الدين الشيال حول تاريخ الترجمة والحركة الثقافية في عصر محمد علي، هيتبين من خلال الجداول الإحصائية والرسوم البيانية اللي قام بإعدادها مجموعة من الحقائق. أولها أن مجموع ما ترجم خلال عصر محمد علي كان 191 كتاب، 9 كتب منها ترجمت نقلا عن العربية إلى اللغة التركية، 61 كتاب نقلت عن الفرنسية إلى التركية معظمها في الفنون الحربية والبحرية، والباقي وعدده 121 كتاب نقلت إلى العربية. تاني حاجة أن اللغة التركية بتحتل المرتبة الثانية بفارق كبير جدا في الترجمة، ترجم عنها العربية 6 كتب نصها في الفنون الحربية والبحرية، وتأتي اللغة الإيطالية في المرتبة الثالثة برصيد 3 كتب، ثم الترجمة عن الفارسية بكتاب واحد. ثالث حاجة أن المؤلفات اللي بتتناول فنون الحرب والقتال بتأتي في المرتبة الأولى، وده طبيعي في إطار مشروع محمد علي التوسعي وقتها، وعددها 64 كتاب، بيليها كتب الطب 34 كتاب، ثم الطب البيطري 22 كتاب، التاريخ 14 كتاب، والهندسة 10 كتب. وكل ده أيضا بيخدم المشروع العسكري بشكل أساسي، خصوصا أن كلية مدرسة الطب نفسها أنشئت كمدرسة عسكرية في البداية لخدمة مشروعه لإنشاء جيش حديث. ده بيوضح مدى ارتباط مشروع الترجمة في عصر محمد علي بمشروعه العسكري. حركة نشر الأعمال المترجمة استمرت في الأربعينيات، ولكن بعد كده أخذت في التراجع. طبع من الأعمال المترجمة 187 كتاب، وفضلت 4 كتب منها مخطوطة. النصيب الأكبر في طبع الكتب المترجمة كان لمطبعة بولاق اللي أنشأها محمد علي، واللي طبعت لوحدها 171 كتاب من الأعمال المترجمة. إذا كان مشروع محمد علي للترجمة تراجع بانهيار مشروعه السياسي وهزيمته العسكرية، وكاد أن يتوقف تماما بعد وفاته، فتراجعت حركة الترجمة كحركة منظمة وأصبحت قائمة على الجهود الفردية. لكن مع الصحوة الوطنية في بدايات القرن العشرين ظهرت للوجود مشروعات جديدة للترجمة نهضت بها مجموعات من المفكرين والكتاب والمثقفين، وعرفت مصر مشروعات متعددة كانت بتبدأ وتختفي مع كل محاولة من محاولات التحديث الجديدة. من أبرز مشروعات الترجمة في القرن العشرين جهود لجنة التأليف والترجمة والنشر، اللي أسسها مجموعة من خريجي مدرسة المعلمين العليا ومدرسة الحقوق، وانتخبت أحمد أمين رئيس ليها، وكانت أقرب في تشكيلها إلى شكل تعاونية لنشر الأعمال المؤلفة والمترجمة، ووصلت جهودها في الترجمة على مدى عشرات السنوات، وأصدرت عدد من الأعمال المهمة. سنة 1935 وفي موجة تانية من موجات الصعود الوطني تأسست لجنة الجامعيين لنشر العلم، وتبنت مشروع للترجمة كانت بكورة إنتاجه ترجمة كتاب تراث الإسلام في مجلدين، وصدر سنة 1936. ووضعت اللجنة هدف لها نشر الثقافة العليا بين الناطقين بالضاد، ثم محاولة تعريب الثقافة الغربية والتعريف بمنتجات الفكر العقل الحديث للاستفادة منها والإضافة إليها بقدر الإمكان. وحددت اللجنة من بين أهدافها محاولة تتبع الفكر الإنساني في تطوره، واشتراكها مع الباحثين في جميع الأقطار للوصول إلى الحقيقة المجردة بمنطوق بيان تأسيس اللجنة. اللجنة ما كانش ليها خطة محددة في الترجمة زي ما بيقول بيانها الأول، فهي بتسعى لتقديم عصارة الفكر الإنساني بغير تحديد. اللي بيميز لجنة الجامعيين للنشر العلمي سعي أعضائها للتأليف باللغات الأوروبية لتقديم الفكر المصري للعالم. سنة 1938 أصدر طه حسين كتابه المهم مستقبل الثقافة في مصر، وخصص فصل طويل من فصوله للترجمة ومشكلاتها، وكان بيلوم فيه على الدولة تقصيرها الشديد في العناية بالترجمة، وقدم بعض المقترحات اللي بيدعو فيها الحكومة أو اللي بيدعو الحكومة لتبنيها للتشجيع للإبداع والتأليف والترجمة. من بينها أن وزارة المعارف تؤسس مكتب للترجمة، وبيقترح خطة عمل لهذا المكتب، وبيعتبر أن إهمالنا للترجمة بيعد مظهر من مظاهر التقصير المخزي، وبيشير إلى أننا نتحدث عن مجد العرب الأقدمين في الترجمة ولا نحذو حذوهم، ويتساءل أننا لا نترجم، وكيف نترجم إذا كنا لا نقرأ، وكيف نقرأ إذا كنا لم نتثقف الثقافة التي تجعل القراءة مقوما لحياتنا اليومية. سنة 1943 أسس عبد الحميد جودة الصحار ومجموعة من الشباب وقتها لجنة النشر للجامعيين، اللي نشرت رواياته ورواية نجيب محفوظ الأولى، وكان من بين إصداراتها بعض الأعمال المترجمة، من أولها مسرحية للأديب السويدي ستراندنبرج ترجمها وديع فلسطين وظهرت سنة 45. المشروعات دي ما قدرش ليها الاستمرار طويلا باستثناء لجنة التأليف والترجمة والنشر. في الخمسينيات والستينيات ظهر للوجود مشروع ال1000 كتاب اللي قام بإشراف وزارة التعليم، وشاركت فيه دور نشر متعددة. كانت فكرته قريبة من بعض ما طرحه طه حسين في كتابه مستقبل الثقافة في مصر. بيستخدم المشروع ميزانية التزويد في وزارة التربية والتعليم في تكليف دور النشر الخاصة بنشر مؤلفات ومترجمات في مختلف مجالات المعرفة. ترجم المشروع بالفعل مئات الكتب المهمة في مختلف المجالات، لكن ما كملش عدد ال1000 كتاب اللي كان بيطمح إليه، وضم أعمال مؤلفة إلى جانب الأعمال المترجمة. تباطأت حركة الترجمة في مصر في السبعينيات والثمانينات بشكل واضح، ورجعت مرة تانية للانتعاش في تسعينيات القرن الماضي. في السنوات الأخيرة من القرن العشرين والسنوات الأولى من القرن ال21 ظهرت على الساحة الثقافية في مصر عدة سلاسل للترجمة بتصدر عن هيئات مختلفة في وزارة الثقافة، واهتم عدد من دور النشر الخاصة أيضا بالترجمة من اللغات الأجنبية. ومن أهم السلاسل دي سلسلة ال1000 كتاب الثاني اللي صدرت عن هيئة الكتاب، وسلسلة أفاق اللي أصدرتها هيئة أصول الثقافة، وسلسلة أكاديمية الفنون للترجمة. وتبنت بعض المراكز الثقافية الأجنبية مشروعات لدعم الترجمة إلى اللغة العربية من لغات بلادها، وشاركت فيها عديد من دور النشر الخاصة والحكومية. سنة 95 ظهر المشروع الأهم اللي هو المشروع القومي للترجمة، اللي بدأ إصداره في المجلس الأعلى للثقافة، وكان بيستهدف نقل أهم ما يصدر من إنتاج فكري في مختلف مجالات المعرفة من مختلف اللغات إلى القارئ العربي، سعياً لتحقيق التواصل الثقافي والحوار الحضاري والإنساني. بدأ المشروع بإصدار أحاد من الكتب في العام الواحد، لكن بعد 10 سنوات وصل لرقم 1000 كتاب، وبعد ذلك تحول إلى المركز القومي للترجمة، وأعتقد أن الدكتور أنور يمكن يغطي الكلام عنه. ووصل تجاوزت الإصدارات 3000 كتاب. أهم ما يميز المشروع أنه أولاً كان بيترجم من اللغات المختلفة مباشرة وليس عن طريق لغة وسيطة، أنه وصل عدد اللغات أو تجاوز عدد اللغات اللي ترجم منها 30 لغة ما بين لغات حية ولغات قديمة، بما فيها النقل عن المصرية القديمة مباشرة، عن العبرية القديمة، السوريانية، اليونانية القديمة واللاتينية العصور الوسطى واللاتينية القديمة. وشارك في المشروع عدد من المترجمين من دول عربية بالإضافة إلى المترجمين المصريين. مراجعة العناوين بتاعت الإصدارات بتبين تنوع مجالات الإصدارات في أعمال إبداعية، روايات، مجموعات قصصية، إلى جانب نصوص من الآداب القديمة، دراسات نقدية ولغوية، وأعمال بتندرج تحت مختلف فروع العلوم الاجتماعية والإنسانيات، بالإضافة لبعض المؤلفات في مجال العلوم البحتة والتطبيقية. بيحاول المشروع القومي للترجمة الموازنة بين ما يصدر في الشرق والغرب، وبين أحدث ما يصدر، وبين الكلاسيكيات القديمة التي لم تترجم من قبل. في النهاية، إذا كانت الترجمة ظلت عبر عصور ضرورة لازمة لتحقيق النهضة في كل المجتمعات الساعية للتطور، ضرورتها بتتزايد بشكل واضح النهاردة في ظل مجتمع المعرفة وثورة المعلومات، وأصبحت شرط أساسي من شروط سد الفجوة المعرفية بين المجتمعات. وشكراً، وآسف على الإطالة.
Okay, no break between. I'd like to start by thanking Samia, of course, and AUC for organizing this event and for inviting me. Samia asked me to say, as the scholar of translation studies on the panel, to say something or to focus on the past and future trajectories of translation studies as a discipline. So that's what I will try and talk about. I will give my view of the discipline, which don't take it as a gospel, because obviously other people have different views. We're all biased. I'll start by pointing out that although translation studies is now widely recognized as a fully fledged discipline in its own right, it remained inward-looking for much of its relatively young history. Even now, many scholars of translation, by no means all, but many scholars of translation, remain preoccupied with internal theoretical issues that are failing to engage wider constituencies, both academic and public. And for me, this is a problem. So the kinds of issues, for example, that they remain preoccupied with in some quarters of translation studies and traditionally include things like a preoccupation with how to produce a watertight definition of translation per se. How do we distinguish between what is translation and what is not translation? Being preoccupied with whether studies of untrained or volunteer translators fall within the remit of translation studies. So should we be studying only professional paid translators, or can we also look at the many, many translations that are being done by untrained or volunteer translators all over the world? And a third example would be the preoccupation with whether metaphorical uses of the term translation by scholars in other fields encroach on our territory as translation studies scholars and constitute a threat to the discipline. For me, all these are very kind of internal quibbles that don't necessarily engage other people. I would argue that in order to connect our academic work with the social spaces in which translation and interpreting function outside the ivory tower, and to demonstrate how consequential translation is in the real world and in the academy at large, we need to adopt a broader understanding of translation and develop a realistic discourse about our object of study, a discourse that is meaningful and accessible to scholars in other disciplines as well as to members of the public. And this, I think, has been a strength of the CTS series that has been running here and that is being celebrated today with the launch of this new book, is precisely that it has tried to open up the idea of what translation is and who can engage with it and from what perspective, in ways that I think are very profitable. And it's tried to connect with other fields of study and different practices of translation, however defined. Now, looking back at the trajectory of translation studies to date to understand why we ended up with these preoccupations and where we're going with them, it is clear that the trajectory or the evolution of translation studies as a discipline has been very different from the path of evolution followed by areas such as ethnography, for example, or anthropology, which have had a very long history of engaging with the ramifications of what is presented as academic research and its impact on the communities they write about. So these people in ethnography, in anthropology, and many other disciplines are used to the idea that what we do in academia has an effect on the world, and it's important to look at these effects. The path of evolution for translation studies had been also very different from the pattern of evolution of new areas of scholarship, such as social movement studies, cultural studies, gender studies, post-colonial studies, whose very raison d'etre has been to critique specific aspects of the social context that constitute their object of study. So all these new areas which sound like translation studies are used to the idea that, part of their job is to question and to critique what is going on. Translation studies has had a very different path of evolution. So translation and interpreting studies have a very different history. The field is traditionally associated with a very specific profession, translation and interpreting, and its history therefore began with a very practical orientation towards that profession. Even now, many translation scholars see their priority as raising the profile of professional translators and interpreters. That's what they're there to do, to raise the profile of professional, paid translators and interpreters. They are there to provide translators and interpreters with the tools that they need in order to improve their performance, including pedagogical resources to train a new generation of professionals, and ensuring that the academic and public discourse around translation avoids giving the impression, dangerous for many people, from many people's perspective, giving the impression that translators and interpreters might intervene in any way in the texts that they render into other languages. Translation interpreting scholars are very active in maintaining the fiction, the illusion that translators and interpreters don't do anything other than simply produce in another language what is there in the first language. The commitment to non-intervention in particular is considered necessary in order to reassure clients and the public that they can trust translators and interpreters not to leave any trace of their own views or ideologies in the texts that they produce, to not contaminate the intended message of the sender. To be recognized and valued, however, we need to leave such sterile and unrealistic debates behind, in my view. Instead, those interested in raising the profile of translation studies as a discipline need to demonstrate relevance to the work of other scholars in other fields, whatever definition these other scholars adopt as a definition of translation, and they need to demonstrate relevance to different aspects of social, cultural, and political life. Even in terms of educating the next generation of professional paid translators and interpreters, which is a big area of the discipline, even in these terms, it's simply not realistic or meaningful to focus only on the existing needs and prejudices of prospective clients and ignore the ethical and social responsibilities of translators and interpreters as citizens who actively participate in shaping all aspects of the environment in which we live. As a scholar of media, Nick Couldry argues in his foreword to a new collected volume entitled Citizen Media as Practice, which came out a couple of months ago, he says, pedagogy, after all, is about unlocking the potential for imagining new worlds. I would add that would-be translators and interpreters are as capable of and responsible for imagining such new worlds as all other members of society. Today, thankfully, the field has expanded to accommodate a wide range of issues and contexts, including, for example, the position of translation in the global publishing industry, translation within news conglomerates, international and pan-national organizations, the film industry, and multinational companies, among many other settings. Some areas of the discipline now engage with the translation strategies and impact of practices such as game localization, fan subbing, scanlation, crowdsourcing, and many other areas that are very, very new and technologically oriented. These studies recognize, for instance, that scanlators, scanlators are the people who scan, translate, and distribute unofficial editions of Japanese comics called manga. They distribute them on the internet, scan them, translate them, distribute them on the internet. They recognize that scanlators do not abide by existing professional norms of translation in the industry, whether in terms of copyright issues or of translation strategies. So these exist, and we need to also look at them and study them. Globalization has empowered both translators and non-translators to experiment with new ways of bridging the language and digital divide and to reconfigure the relationship between service providers and service users, leading to further blurring of boundaries between different types of actor and therefore between translators and non-translators and between translation and other types of text production. These boundaries simply do not exist in the same way anymore. Whatever area of social or political life is examined from the perspective of globalization, translation and interpreting can be clearly seen to play a major role in shaping patterns of dominance and resistance within it, and that's another big theme that we have to address. The mainstream industries of cinema, news, and publishing rely on translators and interpreters to reach and influence global publics, as do political lobbies and government bodies. And at the same time, various groups of fans and activists who wish to pose a challenge to the dominant world order also use translation and interpreting to undermine existing structures of power. The evolving technological landscape continues to shape the opportunities available to both those who want to dominate and those who want to challenge dominance. Technological advances, especially new information and communication technologies, are crucial to sustaining the non-hierarchical participatory culture that makes many of the challenges posed through translation and interpreting possible. So what all this means is that we need to rethink what we think we know about translation, what we think we should study as scholars of translation. In terms of the future of the discipline and the profession, I would expect ethical considerations to occupy an increasingly central place in the discipline, reflecting a broader concern with ethics and accountability in society at large. More attention is also increasingly being given to the threat to the profession posed by new technologies and practices, such as machine translation and crowdsourcing. This is a very big theme, and it will continue to be a very big theme, I think, for many years to come. The impact of new media cultures and new technologies on all aspects of translation and interpreting is among the most promising and most pressing lines of research in the field. New media cultures and practices, such as the running subtitle on television, for example, or the simultaneous translation of tweets during major global crises, configure new ways of seeing and experiencing global realities. New media also create new readerships, and if you create new readerships, then of course that you have to consider the new types of translators and the new types of translation strategies that can serve these new readers. So finally, I would say that like all other areas of social and political life, there is a tendency in translation studies to try and disconnect translation from other areas of social life, which is not tenable. But I would say that like all other areas of social and political life, the interaction between translators and the various tools that they use and the settings in which they work follows a complex dialectic of resistance and accommodation, and will continue to reflect the tensions that shape the evolving face of the profession and the discipline. Thank you.
مساء الخير. يعني هو الورقة بتاعتي عن سياسات الترجمة، وكان في جزء يعني مقدمة تاريخية غطاها الدكتور عماد أبو غازي بدقة وبتفاصيل أكتر، وحتى في الكلام على المركز القومي للترجمة هو يعني هيتكلم أحسن مني، لأن أنا لما أجي أتكلم عن المركز ببقى مكسوف يعني باعتباري المدير. يعني شكرا لأنه غطى يعني جانب كبير. أنا بس أحب أنطلق من يعني تأمل اهتمامنا بل وهمنا بموضوع الترجمة، وإحنا حاسين إنه الترجمة ده موضوع يعني مهم ويحتاج إن إحنا نفكر فيه، ويحتاج إن إحنا نشوف نتعامل معاه إزاي. والاهتمام ده يعني بيعكس حالة من القلق، بحيث إنه مهما حصلت الترجمة على دعم، ومهما حصل فيها تقدم، ومهما أنتج كتب مترجمة، بيبقى عندنا دايما شعور إنه مش كفاية، وإنه لازم نعمل أكتر من كده. فلو رجعنا إلى المشهد الفكري العام في كل مجتمع، الأصل في الأشياء إنه المجتمع هو اللي بينتج كل الإنتاج الفكري والأدبي داخل المجتمع، وبيخضع هذا الإنتاج لنوع من الجدل الحر. المهم إن تكون حرية التعبير مكفولة، وتبدأ النخبة المبدعة في إنتاج يعني إبداعاتها، ثم جمهور المتلقين يعني يحتفي بإنتاج فيزدهر، أو يضيء ظهره لإنتاج آخر فيتوارى. ده هو الجدل الحر في الإنتاج. اهتمامنا بالترجمة معناه إن احنا عايزين نطلع الترجمة من هذا المنطق، ونخليها تبقى يعني محل اهتمام خارج مسألة ترك المجال للجدل الحر للسوق وذوق القراء وقدرات المترجمين. فعندنا شعور بأنه الترجمة محتاجة مننا يعني نوع من المسؤولية أو أخلاق المسؤولية. مثال بسيط لموضوع أخلاق المسؤولية في مقابل أخلاق الحرية بعيد عن الترجمة، إنه نفترض إنه أنا في بيت وجارتي خبطت عليا قالت لي أنا عايز أعمل انترفيو بتاع شغل، فتيجي تقعد مع البيبي بتاعي الرضيع ساعة وأنا حاجة أخلص واجي على طول. فأنا رحت قعدت جنب البيبي ساعة ما جاتش، ساعتين ما جاتش. ما أقدرش أسيب أقول والله هي قالت لي ساعة وأنا قعدت ساعتين ونص، أنا هسيب الواد وأمشي. ما ينفعش. هنا دي اسمها أخلاق المسؤولية. على عكس أخلاق الحرية اللي قايمة على التعاقد، قالت لي ساعة وأنا قعدت ساعة ونص كفاية قوي. فإحنا عندنا شعور بأنه الترجمة محتاجة إلى مثل هذا النوع من الأخلاق، أخلاق المسؤولية. باختصار يعني الترجمة مجال يحتاج إلى الرعاية وألا يترك للإنتاج العفوي والتلقائي لجهود المترجمين وتلقي جمهور السوق. وعشان كده يعني في 3 لحظات تاريخية كبيرة، وطلع الموضوع أكتر من كده بناء على كلمة عماد. إنه طبعا في لحظة محمد علي، طبعا في اللحظة التأسيسية الأولى بيت الحكمة للمأمون اللي هو دخل فكرة إن الدولة لازم تبقى ورا الترجمة ولازم يندفع فلوس من الدولة للمترجمين. لكن في يعني فكرنا الحديث عندنا لحظة محمد علي، واللحظة الثانية مشروع ال1000 كتاب، واللحظة الثالثة اللي هي المشروع القومي للترجمة والمركز القومي. الأولى ارتبطت برفاعة الطهطاوي، والثانية كان بطه حسين، والثالثة بجابر عصفور. في هذه اللحظات الثلاث كانت الدولة بتلعب دور أساسي، بتتدخل في موضوع الترجمة ودعمه بصور متنوعة. ولو حبينا نشوف يعني لحظات في التاريخ كان تدخل الدولة فيها محدود، ما بتدعمش الترجمة، ونشوف الترجمة كان حلها إيه. فأنا هاخد يعني مثالين في كتاب سر تأخر المصريين لمحمد عمر الصادر في عام 1902. جايب إحصائية عن الكتب اللي صدرت في مصر خلال ال5 سنوات اللي قبل تأليف الكتاب، يعني من 1995 لغاية 1895 ل 1900. ففي مثلا 11 كتاب في الدين، 6 كتب في الاقتصاد، 3 كتب في التاريخ. المهم في 75 رواية مترجمة، بما يعادل انه يعني 60% من الانتاج الفكري في مصر كله كان روايات مترجمة، وكلها روايات عاطفية وروايات مغامرات. وطبعا المؤلف بيحذر من ان دي يعني حاجات للتسلية ومش مهمة وحاجات زي كده. بس يعني ده اللي هو السوق، يعني ما هي دي مطابع خاصة وعايزة تبيع، فالروايات المترجمة بتجد جمهور كبير من المتلقين، فبقى فيه نهضة في ترجمة الروايات المترجمة. اللحظة الثانية كانت بين الحربين، وكان الترجمة الغالبة فيها هي ترجمات مسرحيات الفودفيل الفرنسية، تمصير مسرحيات الفودفيل للنهضة المسرحية اللي كانت حصلت، الريحاني والكسار وأولاد عطلة والجزائري كلهم كانوا بيشتغلوا على مسرحيات فرنسية ممصرة. طبعا أنا مش بالهدف من أن أنا بجيب اللحظتين دول عشان أقلل من أهمية الروايات والمسرحيات ولا الاستهانة بتأثيرها، ولكن فقط لكي نستنتج معا بطريقة منطقية أن متابعة الإنتاج العالمي في مجال العلوم الإنسانية على أهميته لن يجد سوى هامش محدود لو تركنا الأمر مرتبط بالسوق بالصورة اللي موجودة لدى الروايات والمسرحيات. وعشان كده كان دايما يعني لجأ المفكرون المؤمنون بالدور التنويري والتربوي للترجمة دائما إلى البحث عن دعم للدولة، ويتجسد الدعم الأساسي للدولة اليوم في الترجمة بشكل أساسي في المركز القومي للترجمة الذي أنشئ عام 2006. وهنا هناك مؤسسات أخرى بتعتمد على ميزانية الدولة وبتنتج كتب مترجمة، لكن يعني إنتاجها محدود بالنسبة للمركز، زي الجامعات وزي المؤسسات الصحفية القومية. السياسة اللي بتتبناها الدولة حينما نقول دعم الدولة هو يعني تجسيد لفكرة أخلاق المسؤولية، خصوصا أن دعم الدولة ده هو ده فلوس الشعب، مش أنه هو زيادة لسلطة الدولة على الترجمة، بل اقتطاع جزء من يعني إيرادات الدولة اللي بتيجي من ضرائب الناس إلى أنه يبقى موجه للترجمة. السياسة اللي بتتبناها الدولة بتخضع بالتالي يعني للنقد وللترشيد في كل المراحل اللي بيخضع ليها الكتاب المترجم. فإحنا في عندنا آلية في اختيار الكتب التي يتم ترجمتها، بتقوم بها لجان متخصصة بيصدر قرارها بناء على تصفح الكتاب ومعرفة موضوعه. وفي حاجة تتعلق بموضوعات الكتب اللي المفروض نترجمها وأجر المترجم. وإحنا عندنا مشكلة بالذات في شباب المترجمين، لأنه الترجمة حتى الآن لم تصبح مجالا بحيث أنه شاب يعني مترجم كويس يقدر يعتمد عليها في أنه يبقى مصدر دخل ويبني أسرة وينفق عليها، لأنه دخل الترجمة عندنا أقل بكتير من دخل الترجمة في بلاد العالم الأخرى، وبالتالي ما بقتش شيء جاذب للشباب. يعني أي شاب معاه ليسانس لغة ألماني ولا فرنساوي يفضل أنه يشتغل يعني مرشد سياحي أو مدرس أفضل من أنه يشتغل مترجم، لأنه في الترجمة مش ضامن هيعيش ولا لا، هيقدر يعيش يعني أولاده وأسرته ولا لا. طبعا في سياسة التعاون مع دور النشر الخاصة وتدعيم دور النشر الخاصة على ترجمة كتب في العلوم الإنسانية، لأنه طبعا إحنا لما بيبقى في كتاب كده زي مذكرات هيلاري كلينتون بتلاقي دور النشر الخاصة بتتنافس على إنها تاخده، لكن كتابها تاريخ الفيزياء من نيوتن إلى أينشتاين مش هنلاقي دار نشر يعني متحمسة لإصداره، لأنه مش عارفة هيبيع ولا لأ. في حين إنها لو لقت دعم ممكن طبعا تترجم مثل هذا النوع من الكتب. في صور أخرى من دعم الترجمة بنلاقيها في دول تانية، زي إن إحنا بنستضيف المترجمين الأجانب بمنح للإقامة في مصر تشجيعا لهم على ترجمة الكتب من العربية إلى اللغات الأجنبية. وهنا باجي بقى الموضوع يعني الترجمة من العربية، والشائع انه بنستخدم تعبير الترجمة العكسية، لكن الدكتور عناني قال دي ترجمة مش صحيحة. الترجمة العكسية مقصود بيها ان انا لما بترجم كتاب والاقي كوتيشن من اصل عربي وارجع ارجع بقى الانجليزي ده للعربي تاني، دي اللي اسمها الترجمة العكسية. لكن الموضوع بدقة اللي نحب نتكلم عليه هو الترجمة من العربية الى اللغات الاخرى. الأصل يعني في الأمر هو إنه الثقافة المستقبلة هي التي تختار بحرية ما تحتاج إلى ترجمته من الإنتاج الفكري والأدبي للثقافات الأخرى. فنحن كشعوب عربية بنختار من الصين الكتب اللي احنا عايزين نترجمها، ونختار من فرنسا الكتب اللي عايزين نترجمها. ده هو الأصل في الأمور. ولكن لما بنظرة إلى يعني جغرافية الترجمة على مستوى العالم بنلاقي الأمور مش متروكة بهذه البساطة للثقافة المستقبلة تحدد تترجم إيه. فالدول بتتدخل وإحنا بنستفيد بهذا التدخل، مش بندينه، بالعكس يعني إحنا بنجيلنا دعم للترجمة من معهد جوتا، من المعهد الفرنسي، من المعهد الإيطالي، من معهد سيرفانتس الأسباني، وبيقولوا إحنا عندنا دعم لأن إحنا عايزين الكتب دي تترجم للغة العربية في بلادكم. وده بيزود الإشعاع الثقافي بالتأكيد لهذه الدول. وإحنا لما يكون مهمومين بأن إحنا عايزين نترجم الترجمة من العربية إلى اللغات الأخرى، ينبغي أن يكون لدينا ما يشبه هذا الدعم، لكن هو مش موجود. ولما سألنا في وزارة الدعم ده بيجي لنا من وزارة الخارجية بتاعت البلاد دي، سواء المعهد الفرنسي أو معهد جوتا، كلها فلوس مخصصات في وزارة الخارجية. وسألنا في وزارة الخارجية عن يعني أي بند في الميزانية يخص هذا الموضوع، مش موجود خالص. فإذا كنا بالفعل عايزين يعني يبقى فيه ترجمة من العربي إلى اللغات الأجنبية، وهو فيه بالتأكيد، وطبعا الكلاسيكيات العربية ألف ليلة وليلة وأعمال ابن رشد وابن سينا والغزالي والفارابي ما بقتش محتاجة محامي، بتترجم. لكن أعمال كتيرة في العلوم الإنسانية وفي الكتب الفكرية صعب قوي إنها تترجم للغات الأخرى، مش لأنها قليلة القيمة لا، في بعضها بيبقى مهم، لكن برضو بتبقى الناشر الأجنبي خايف إنه يترجمها ويخسر فيها. فطبعا المفروض الدول بتكسر الموضوع ده بأنها بتدفع له دعم لعملية الترجمة. ومن هنا فيعني موضوع الترجمة ودعمها يعني ضرورة لتدخل الدولة في ناحيتين، سواء من الأجنبية إلى العربية أو من العربية إلى الترجمات اللغات الأجنبية، خصوصا وإن احنا يعني بنشكو عن حق من تشويه صورة العرب في الإعلام الغربي، وهي فعلا ومتعمد هذا التشويه لأسباب سياسية، لكن لن يجدي نفعا إن احنا نقول لهم والله احنا كويسين. إنما هو الحل هو إنه تترجم رواياتنا وقصائدنا وتترجم أعمالنا الفكرية، فيتعرف الناس على العرب، خصوصا إن احنا بننتج الحاجات دي في الأصل لينا مش عشانهم، بس هم لما بيترجموها بيقدروا ياخدوا فكرة صادقة عن همومنا ومشاكلنا، على عكس الصورة اللي بيحاول يروجها الإعلام الغربي لأسباب سياسية. طبعا أصبحت هناك مؤسسات يعني بتدعم الترجمة من العربية إلى اللغات الأجنبية، وبالذات جهات كتيرة في الخليج العربي، لكن طبعا يعني غير كافية، كمان بتفتقر إلى التنسيق. ونتمنى إنه يبقى في صندوق كبير يعني في الجامعة العربية أو في أي مجال مخصص لدعم الترجمة إلى اللغات الأخرى، ونتمنى مزيد من الدعم للترجمة يوجه حتى لدور النشر الخاصة للترجمة، لأنه هدف المركز القومي للترجمة مش الاستحواذ على الترجمة بقدر ما هو تشجيعها في كل مجال. ومن هنا يبقى إلى جانب ميزانية المركز بنأمل إنه الميزانية تزيد بحيث يبقى في دعم مباشر موجه لدور النشر الخاصة لدفعها إلى إنتاج مزيد من الكتب المترجمة. وشكرا جزيلا.
My paper is an attempt to define translation, its pleasures and its pains. So if you will not concentrate on my talk, just remember the title, because it sums it up. A passion for knowledge and a yearning for world culture. كلمتي محاولة لتعريف الترجمة باعتبارها متعة ومعاناة. والعنوان هو تعريف الترجمة في العنوان: شغف معرفي وحنين إلى ثقافة كونية. Translators are amateurs, not in the sense of being unskillful or incompetent, but in the etymological sense of the term. Amateur means from Latin amator, which means a lover. And like lovers, translators experience suffering and bliss. They would not exchange that state of unrequited love for any other state of being. And borrowing the words of the Sufis, they would say, if the sultans knew of our state, they would fight us with swords for it. لو عرف السلاطين ما نحن فيه لقتلونا بالسيوف عليه. The pleasures of translation are mixed with the agonies of finding the right tone, the correct correspondence, and the parallel syntax. Translators are never fulfilled because translations are never perfect, even though translators pine after perfection. The most becoming image of a translator is that of Sisyphus rolling a boulder up a mountain only to have it roll down just before it reaches the top, forcing Sisyphus to repeat the action endlessly. How often translators, and many of you here are translators, find themselves elated having found le mot juste, to use the coinage of Flaubert, only to review their translation and find that it's not quite the right word or the right phrase. This wavering between multiple choices can be enchanting and also agonizing. The translator needs to be cunning, as James Joyce characterized the artist. Words are miraculous weapons, armes miraculeuses, as Aimé Césaire taught us. And the translator has to be trained in the use of such weapons. Slyness and craftsmanship are then the translator's assets. A translator has to master how to chase and trap meaning, just as sly Sisyphus did when he asked Thanatos to show him how the chains worked in tying him. When Thanatos demonstrated how he bound him, Sisyphus seized the opportunity and chained Thanatos instead. The prerequisite understanding of how meaning is trapped in a discourse is what the translator needs before such meaning can be transferred to another language or medium. It is when Thanatos unpacks the mechanisms of trapping that Sisyphus is able to do a similar act, but this time with a different target. Translators need to be clever in exploring how significance is contained in a language and how it can be transposed to another. The translator comes to translation with a desire to know and a longing to undertake an impossible task. If Sisyphus was being punished for his self-empowerment and audacity to overcome death in the figure of Thanatos, so it is with the translator, who seeks to know and to exercise intellectual prowess. The translator, in an effort to circumvent incomprehensibility that was decreed by the Tower of Babel, attempts to go beyond such fate. The translator commits the sin of hubris, of intellectual pride, of trusting the human mind with annulling the decree of unintelligibility among diverse languages. The translator attempts to outwit the verdict of the Tower of Babel. The drive for knowledge is as old as humanity. It drove Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. Instead of staying comfortably in the enclosed park that was Eden, they sought to break away from the paradisic enclosure to explore the world at large, with its pleasures and pains. Likewise, translators are not content with the comfort of their native languages and seek strange and alien tongues. The translator is after the forbidden and forbidding fruit of knowledge. Translators soon discover the adventurous nature of their craft, the breadth and depth of unfathomed layers lurking in the process of translation. What precedes translation is interpretation. And what precedes interpretation is understanding. And what precedes understanding is the immersion of the translator in the language of the other. Total immersion is not simply mastery of vocabulary, of grammar, of syntax, of poetics, but of an entire culture with its invisible patterns. A translator has to be both a linguist and an anthropologist. Yet it is not enough to have mastery of another language and to penetrate its cultural dimensions. Translators need to master as well the language of the self, and thus they should have a double consciousness, a simultaneous awareness of the target language and the source language, a grounding in patterns and specificities of two languages, and by extension, two cultures. Defying the Tower of Babel, translators are not searching for a pre-lapsarian state, but for a polyphonic world. They are not searching for universalism, but for pluriversalism. The fall has taken place, and it cannot be undone. It cannot be erased. We are condemned to have plurality of languages. And maybe we are not so much condemned as we are blessed for such a diversity, as the Quran underlines it. We appointed you races and tribes that you may know one another. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. And how do we get to know each other without translation? Translators are then redeemers of a confounded world. The Lord pronounced his wrath in the Old Testament, saying in Genesis, I cite, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. Let's go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." End of citation. Translators yearn for world culture. This by no means indicates one hegemonic culture, but a multiplicity of cultures that coexist and can communicate even if imperfectly. Just as world history is not reduced to the history of one region of the world, and just as world literature covers different literary traditions, so world culture is the arena where cultures from the different corners of the world, global south and global north, east or west, classical or postmodern, indigenous or creolized, are recognized and celebrated. What translators teach us is that redemption from unintelligibility is not a single event undertaken by a savior, but an ongoing collective engagement that goes on endlessly, recognizing the importance of human communication despite our cultural and linguistic differences. Such redemption is necessarily without an end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, that's great. Thank you, Samia, so much for inviting me to speak to you today. And thank you to the Center for Literary Translation for 10 years of interesting, provocative, and enjoyable lectures, and many other activities. Dennis Johnson Davies, whose spirit, I hope, hovers benignly over this occasion. In fact, I'm sure that it does, having been invoked specifically by Samia at the beginning, was the first person to make a concerted effort to introduce Arabic literature to English readers. And let me say here that faced by this wide field of translation, as we have had it laid out for us so skillfully tonight, I'm going to restrict myself to literary translation from Arabic into English, which is the furrow that I personally plow in that big field. Dennis had at least one notable success, commercially speaking. The publication of his translation of Tayyib Saleh's Season of Migration to the North, which a few years ago found a place in the Penguin Classics series. All the same, Dennis never ceased to emphasize the extreme efforts he had to go to interest English language publishers in Arabic literature. The short lifespan of series intended to raise the profile of Arabic literature, or the failure of most of what he translated to reach a large audience. Even 15 years ago, some 55 years after Dennis made his first translation, I vividly remember the dampening effect it had on me when Mark Lintz, then director of the AUC Press, told me and a colleague that he hoped we didn't expect to make a living out of this. Though a degree of professional self-interest may have lain behind his remark, it echoed the generally pessimistic outlook of the time regarding the viability from a publisher's perspective of Arabic novels in translation. Today, I believe, the position of literary translation from Arabic into English is fundamentally stronger, and the quality and importance of Arabic literature much more widely recognized in the English-speaking world. Here, I should emphasize also that I speak only really of translation from English into Arabic. I do not know much about the situation of translation from Arabic into French or German or Italian, though I think that things probably go even better there. Let me cite just one indicator of the improvement in the position of Arabic literature translated into English since Dennis's time. The most recent list of works in the World Bookshelf, published and supported financially by PEN UK, the British arm of the Worldwide Writers Association, contained 24 books, of which 4 were translations from Arabic. Only Spanish scored an equal number, and other languages were represented by smaller numbers. Obviously, it is too early to say adieu to French literature or sayonara to Japanese as players in the English book market, and it may have been a bit of a blip. Nonetheless, such strong representation of Arabic writing in translation on a prestigious list from an organization at the heart of the English literary world would have been unthinkable even a decade ago. The causes behind this upsurge are multiple and complex, and I do not want to get into them in this brief presentation. For now, let me just note a few milestones along the road. Obviously, Naguib Mahfouz being awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1981 is one, though it wasn't followed up by much further exposure. More significant, in my opinion, in terms of opening a new audience for Arabic literature, was its first true crossover popular success, Ala al-Aswani's Yaqubian Building, which, for the first time, saw an Arabic novel sell tens of thousands of copies in English. The same period saw the establishment of Banipal magazine, the first English-language magazine devoted to publishing excerpts from modern Arabic and promoting Arabic literature in English in general. A plethora of e-zines and blogs, some dedicated primarily to literature, some general, now exist that present Arabic literature, Arabic writing, either alone or alongside translations from other languages. Arab Lit Cooperative, Words Without Borders, Jadaliya, The Common, Arab Hyphen, etc. Literary prizes, some of large monetary value, have joined the veteran AUC's Naguib Mahfouz Prize, awarded since 1996. Of these, the most famous is the International Prize for Arab Fiction, commonly referred to as the Arab Booker. Though the influence of book prizes on literary production in Arabic is considered by some to be negative, they have undoubtedly helped to raise the profile of the winning books, which are frequently thereafter translated. Importantly, too, I think, this increased presence of Arabic literature in the English language book market has been expanded since 2013 to include pre-modern works. The Library of Arabic Literature, a series of dual Arabic-English texts with translations, now carries some 25 titles, ranging from pre-Islamic poetry to Muhammad al-Muwalhi. It is now possible to walk into a bookstore in London and find a bookshelf full of Arabic classics with the translation alongside the original text. Produced to a high standard in both literary and technical terms and aimed at the non-specialist reader. I do not want to paint an absolutely rosy picture. More Arabic works have been shortlisted than have actually won prizes, though being on a shortlist is itself a distinction and should result in increased attention and sales. Not all titles, even critically acclaimed ones, pay enough to cover publishers' costs. Often such works are carried by other assets in the publisher's lists. However, that is also true of difficult works from other languages. There is also a paradox. In this age of discursive overkill, statements such as translation is the key cultural artifact of our age are bandied about, and this, of course, is inspiring for us translators. However, rates paid for translation from any language remain low. Dr. Maurice has pointed out the situation here in Egypt. I can assure him that it isn't that much better elsewhere. I can think of at least a dozen, despite this, one more factor in the improved reception of Arabic literature is the greater number of competent translators, many of whom are young. I can think of at least a dozen, whereas 20 years ago, one would have been hard-pressed to think of more than one. That one being, of course, Dennis Johnson Davies. The expansion and improvement of Arabic teaching in major universities around the world, including AUC's Center for the Study of Arabic Abroad, has certainly played a role in this. This brings us more or less up to 2019, and a very satisfactory year it has been so far from this perspective. In May, Marilyn Booth's translation of Juha al-Harth's Celestial Bodies won the International Booker Prize. The first time that an Arabic novel has won a major prize in competition with works from other literatures in English translation. In addition, Larry Price's translation of Khalid Khalifa's Death is Hard Work was one of the 4 finalists for the USA's National Book Award in the translation category. Though her translation of Khalid Khalifa's Death is Hard Work did not win, this constitutes another significant moment. Given the high prestige and profile of the prize, which has been described as the Oscars of Arabic literature, of American literature, وهنا بعتذر للناس اللي بيتابعوا الترجمة العربية علشان أما كتبت الترجمة ده كان من كام شهر وكنت لسه متعشم إني لاري هتاخد الجائزة بس ما حصلش معلش هي برضو إنجاز وإنجاز كبير. All of this amounts perhaps to saying no more than that Arabic literature has gained a toehold in the English book market. But that toehold is significant. It means that the existence of a thriving modern Arabic literature is recognized outside the academy, that literature is afforded respect, and that it is read outside of its home territory. And that is something new and something to celebrate. Thank you very much.
Discussion, do you need questions? But I will ask you, please, because we are many, to be brief with your comments or questions so that everybody has time to engage with the speakers. I also want to say that the book is outside and is being sold here tonight. We've made it possible for you so that you don't have to go all the way out to Mainz. Right? Okay, Zainab, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Zainab Mubarak. I'm an amateur translator. Thank you, Dr. Ghazul. I have a passion for a very specific kind of translation, which is for dubbing. And your word made me laugh out loud because I was in ecstasy and agony just this morning because I translate songs for dubbing to music. You hit, it just hit the right spot. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to say that to all fellow translators, I think the joy and passion overcomes the agony. And I hope that everybody who works as a translator feels that way. Thank you very much.
All the way in the back, please, Professor Hopkins.
What about translation in the social sciences? You haven't talked about that at all. That's also important for intercultural communication, etc.
Is this question to me or to...
Translation in the social sciences.
Translation in the social sciences. You want somebody to comment on that?
Why is there so little?
Why is there so little from Arabic into English or vice versa?
Arabic into English.
Arabic into English. ترجمة العلوم الإنسانية من العربية إلى الإنجليزية أو لغات أخرى.
يعني في مشكلة طبعا إن الإنتاج الفكري العربي في العلوم الإنسانية يعني ملوش قيمة كبيرة إلى الآن علشان يترجم للإنجليزية. يعني ما احنا مش هنضحك على نفسنا يعني. لا رد تاني. يعني ده في تقديري ده جزء أساسي. التركيز الأساسي بيبقى على يعني احنا بنعيد إنتاج ما يقدمه
أنا بختلف مع في علي الوردي في عويس في مصر أنتجوا يعني كتبوا أعمال مهمة جدا ويجب أن تترجم يعني أعتقد. لا أنا بتكلم عن اثنين كنموذج يعني بس في أكثر من اثنين.
أنا برضو يعني ليا بالطبع يعني الإنتاج العربي عموما في مجال العلوم الاجتماعية طبعا ضعيف نتيجة كمان للرقابة الموجودة وإنه ما فيش حرية في الفكر. لكن برضو بنلاحظ إنه يعني في مشكلة في الترجمة. بنلاقي يعني على الأقل مثلا في دور النشر الفرنسية تبعت أي كاتب فرنسي أو كاتبة فرنسية يقعد في مصر 3 شهور ويروح كاتب بعديهم كتاب عن أوضاع المرأة المصرية أو التجربة البرلمانية في مصر. رغم إنه في دراسات هنا أكثر توثيقا وأكثر دقة لكن ما هماش ميالين لترجمتها. في الفترة الأخيرة أنا يعني حسيت إنه مهم إن احنا نترجم كتاب الفتنة الكبرى لطه حسين للغات الأجنبية خصوصا بسبب الصراع الناشب بين السنة والشيعة وهو كتاب ممكن يبقى مفيد وكتاب علمي وموضوعي وهيبقى يعني من مفكر عربي في المجال ده. لقيت صعوبة في إنه ألاقي دار نشر موافقة على الكتاب ده في حين إنه واحد صحفي يقعد يتكلم عن شوية انطباعات بين السنة والشيعة والكتاب يحظى بالنشر. وبالتالي أنا شايف برضو إنه الإنتاج العربي في العلوم الاجتماعية مظلوم ومحتاج حد يدافع على العدد القليل من الكتب اللي لها قيمة علمية وإنها هتبقى مفيد إنها تترجم للغات أخرى.
تعليق، أسئلة؟ اتفضل حضرتك.
شكرا جدا لكل المتحدثين. أنا اسمي عبد الرحمن مجدي، أحد طلاب الدكتور علي المنوفي الله يرحمه، كان مترجم عظيم. والحقيقة أنا بضم صوتي لصوت البروفيسور المسؤول عن المركز القومي للترجمة، إن إحنا فعلا في مصر محتاجين ترجمات كتير غير أدبية من اللغات الأجنبية للغة العربية غير أجنبية غير أدبية. وسؤالي هو عن ترجمة في ويب سايتس كبيرة وعظيمة، لو احنا فكرنا ان احنا نترجمها هيكون ليها فايدة كبيرة على الاقتصاد المصري. خاصة انا كان عندي فكرة ترجمة ويب سايت اسمه انفستوبيديا. ده فيه يعني علشان انا درست علوم اقتصادية بعد اللغات والترجمة، فالويب سايت ده كان في يعني قدر كبير من المعرفة. فالحقيقة أنا جربت إن أنا أترجمه، بس بعد يعني شوية كده أصابني اليأس فتوقفت إن أنا أترجمه علشان الحالة الاقتصادية المصرية. فدي فكرة لو حد يعني حابب إن هو يكمل أو الدكتور حابب إن هو يتبناها. شكرا كده.
شكرا. في سؤال ورا خالص.
سؤالي للدكتور أنور موريس.
مين بيتكلم؟
مسموع؟
أنا مش شايفة.
دكتور سامي
لو
مساء الخير دكتور أنور موريس. سؤالي عن بعد التحية طبعا، مين اللي كسب جائزة رفع الطهطاوي هذا العام؟
ماشي يا فندم.
Good evening. Thank you.
بس السؤال للأستاذ محمد علي بدوي، هو يعني في لجنة طبعا من المحكمين هي اللي شغالة على الموضوع وبتعمل تقرير، ولازم الأول يتصدق يوقع عليه أعضاء اللجنة ثم يتصدق عليه من الوزيرة، وفي الحالة دي يبقى احنا عندنا إمكانية إن احنا نعلن عنها، فلسه خلال الأيام القليلة القادمة سوف يتم الإعلان عنها.
يعني لسه ما تمش الإعلان؟
لا لسه. 25 ديسمبر هيبقى يوم المترجم وهيتم الإعلان عن الفائزين فيه.
ورا هنا. Yes, please go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much for this lovely lecture and speech and listening to each of you. I'm a former student in ECLT, and I'm currently an educator teaching in schools. And one of the things that struck me greatly is the lack of our literature, which is Arab literature, in international curricula taught in international schools. And I find that it's actually extremely important, because what I find is children who, we talk about children from 13 years old up until 18, who have a lack of identity, who cannot understand who they are, where they are, and where they are in the world. And often I wonder, is this a lack of well-translated stories, literature that they can read from our part of the world that's unavailable, for it not to be inserted into the curricula, for them to get an understanding of themselves? Or is it the fact that's just policy from this particular curricula that do choose not to include this particular literature? The only incident that I found was in teaching advanced placement literature, which is upper secondary pre-university literature in the American curriculum, where they have some works, maybe one of Khalil Gibran. That's it. And it's very saddening because we have, again, young people and children who are the generation of our part of the world and other parts of the world whom parents are paying a lot of money to, and it's become part of our culture to send them to these particular schools, and this is lacking. And I speak from my own personal experience. I discovered my own culture very later on in life in university and not necessarily in schools. And even the national curriculum itself does not cover particular texts or interpretations that these international school students should have. So is that possible for there to be stories, literary works that are written for the youth, to be translated, to be taught in schools? That's about it. Thank you.
مين عايز يرد؟ You have an answer.
I think there are translations of children's stories from Arabic to English. And Dennis Johnson Davis has contributed to works like this that were done by Dar al-Fatah al-Arabi, and there are, a number of well-known writers and well-known artists who actually illustrated these works and so on. They're available, but there's something wrong here. When books is out of print, it's not then reprinted. And that's very important, that it should be available, So maybe another publisher, because we don't have Dar al-Fatah al-Arabi anymore, maybe another publisher should take it up, and reprint these books.
Fernand has a, you want to comment? Fernand? You want to ask a question? Okay. Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your brilliant talks. And you have touched on many very important topics, from self-awareness to the bias in translation and to technology. And all of that should really be important issues to consider. And my question is not for you, but for Samia. Where do you see the center 5-10 years from now, in light of what has been said and the activities that you have started? So where do you go from there?
I'm on sabbatical. That's number one. Number two, I don't know how long I'm going to be around. So the 10-year marker was very important. And I think that many of the issues that were raised here this evening have already been part of our ongoing discussion over the past 10 years. It's very difficult to take the center anywhere because, as I said in my introduction, there are many institutional constraints. I mean, there was a time early on in the life of the center when we thought we would have a degree, which is, not only appropriate for AUC, but an absolute must for an institution like AUC. And unfortunately, for reasons beyond my comprehension, we could never actually launch that MA. And I owe so many colleagues support. Every other year I would say, could you write another letter, please? Could we have another committee, etc.? But there are things that are beyond Samia, I have tried to keep it going, and I have tried to engage different audiences and different colleagues. But, Dr. Alep wants to respond. Oh, you're asking a question? Right.
Yeah, I'm just asking a question to the speakers. I mean, how do you see artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning affecting the whole business of, I hate to say business, I mean the whole discipline of translation? How do you see this going? It's coming anyways, and it's going to interact no matter what we do, right? So are you seeing this as a threat? Are you seeing it as sort of confusing the whole picture and the notion of principles of translation? How do you see it impacting the discipline?
Shall I say something? Well, I'm just back actually from the launch of a big institute in Shanghai, which is focusing precisely on these things, and AI and machine translation and all kinds of technologies that are now celebrated as the way forward, mainly because you can get a lot of funding if you go that way. That is really the real thing. And since all universities have become extremely corporate, you need to get funds because you don't get the support you used to get. And so many academics' way out of this impasse is to set up these things that so they can develop AI systems, machine translation systems, sell them to industry, raise money with which they can then support their actual academic research. But of course, it's a double-edged thing because I'm not against machine translation per se, but AI, machine translation, all these technologies are gradually replacing the kind of work that ordinary translators have been making a living out of for a long time. And the work of these translators is actually being put into service to train machine translation systems in such a way that ultimately it's the translators who lose because they're being replaced, their work is being taken, used as a resource for training, not just training machine translation systems, but providing machine-aided translation where you just recycle bits of text that were translated before. And it's all part of the platform economy, the kind of downgrading of human labor in favor of digital labor, and it's very worrying. And I think we need more critical reflection on this, and academics are increasingly being kind of overwhelmed by exactly what Samia has been talking about, just the need to survive from day to day and do very basic things that we didn't really have to lobby for before. And so they, against their will, in a way, they are being sucked into this obsession with technology that's ultimately going to replace us all if we don't do something about it. Not stopping it, but working with it critically and intelligently, really. It's a grim picture, but...
we have a question here. عند الدكتور عادل هنا. Okay.
أنا عايز أسأل هنفري ديفيز عشان هو مشغول بالأدب وترجمة الأدب. أنت سامعني؟ جميل.
اتكلم في الميكروفون يا عادل.
هل يمكن يعني عايز أفهم هم شايفين إزاي المنتج الأدبي اللي مش مكتوب باللغة العربية الفصحى؟ يعني مثلا إحنا عندنا نصوص أدبية بل رفيعة القيمة كتبها واحد زي فؤاد حداد أو يعني شعراء كبار، وفي كمان من كتبوا أدب باللغة العامية. هل في أي نصيب من الاهتمام بالنوع ده من الكتابة، ولا ترجمة الأدب العربي إلى اللغة الإنجليزية مشروط باللغة الفصحى؟ وإذا كنت أنا مش عارف كويس يا ريت حضرتك تفهمني إذا كانت في محاولات تمت لترجمة نصوص من العامية اللي مثلا العامية المصرية أو غيرها أشكال العامية الأخرى في الأدب العربي إلى اللغة الإنجليزية. وشكرا.
رندا أبو بكر
I don't know. Is this working? Okay. أفتكر أن اللغة العامية مش منسية خالص في مجال الأدب اليومين دول، يعني دي موجودة بطريقة أو بأخرى في روايات كتيرة من النوع اللي أنا بترجمها بدرجات مختلفة. يعني هتلاقي مثلا في روايات مش هتلاقي فيها ولا كلمة ممكن تقول عليها عامية، مع إن المصطلح نفسه في مشاكل. عشان شخصيا أنا شايف إن كل كاتب له تحت منه مهما كان لغته عالية، في دايما الطبقة السفلى، الطبقة اللي هي طبقة لغة الأم شغالة في المجتمع وفي هو أو هي كفرد. فوق كمان في روايات تقريبا كلها بالعامية واترجمت، أو في مثلا اوكي دلوقتي اما يعني تحط سؤال قدامي كده يعني افكر يعني حاجه بالعاميه 100% مش هقدر اقول لك. في روايات زي مثلا قيام وانهيار الصاد شين لحمدي أبو قليل، عشان هو مش بس بالعامية، هي بالعامية المصرية، بالعامية المصرية البدوية، هي بالعامية الليبية وبالعامية التونسية والجزائرية، ويعني كل اللغات، كل العاميات اللي تحبها موجودة فيها. ده أنا شخصيا بتعشم إن الرواية دي تترجم، وعندي أفتكر إنها فعلا هتترجم. في روايات زي أن تكون عباس العبد فيها درجة من العامية موجودة. نصوص أفلام بالعامية، يعني حضرتك بتقترح إن النصوص دي بتترجم، بتترجم فعلا. يعني كل ما فيلم بيتعرض على شاشة أجنبية لازم النص يترجم، فمعظم الأفلام طبعا بالعامية. وأنا مش شايف إنه حظ العامية قد كده ضعيف. أفتكر إنه بيكبر من سنة لسنة، ده علشان المؤلفين بدأوا يستعملوه أكتر لكذا سبب. وأنا مش من الناس اللي بيقولوا لا لازم نكتب عامية، إنما أنا شايف إنه العامية ليها دور مهم في الرواية. وأنا شخصيا يعني بأكد لك إني أنا مبسوط إن أنا أما أترجم حاجة بالعامية ببقى مبسوط، مع إنه في طبعا حدود. أنا خلفيتي في اللغة العربية المنطوقة مصر، لو جبت لي رواية فيها نسبة كبيرة أو صغيرة من العراقي مثلا ما هبقى محتاس.
بعد الشر عليك. دكتورة منى اتفضلي.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mona Namouri, Assistant Professor, Toronto University, and an aspiring translator. I'd like to thank our speakers for their wonderful, enlightening, and very dense presentations. But mostly, I would like to thank the CTS and Dr. Samia Mehrez for enlightening us for the last 10 years, not only with the lectures, which were various and different and enlightening, but also with the workshops that started with the House of Translation back in 2012, starting with the Michael Cronin workshop and maybe another one or two, and then unfortunately stopped. Great job, chapeau, Professor Mehrez, and thank you for enlightening and nourishing the cultural field in Egypt with the translation studies in the last 10 years. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question, and we can resume the conversation outside. We have plenty of food, and you're probably all very warm by now, and so you can take your food and sit in the garden, and that would be much more pleasant, and continue the one more question, please. اتفضل حضرتك.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Mona Baker, you mentioned in your interesting talk about translation, in parenthetical, that we are all biased. And I understand that by we you mean we translators.
We, everybody.
We, everybody, okay,
Yeah.
Including
It's
translators.
human condition.
Including translators. My question is, after we work about translation and power, and after Hatem and Mason's work about invisibility of translation, I'd like to ask you personally, to what extent do you think translators are allowed to be biased or to be visible? Thank you.
It depends on who's allowing them. In theory. I mean, my position really is like Foucault, for instance, when he writes about truth. He says truth is a thing of this world. It's not an absolute thing in itself. It's something that is governed by the power dynamics that operate at any one time, by who says what is true and what is not, all kinds of things. So translation is like that. I mean, it's what you end up with in the form of any given translation is the result of not just what the translator wants to produce, but all kinds of other agents, and I'm sure you'll be aware, who intervene in the product and shape it in various ways, the opportunities that are available. But ultimately, you can't get out of your own skin as a translator and pretend that your own makeup, your own experiences, your own outlook on life is not somehow mediating your interpretation of the text that you're looking at. So I mean bias in that sense, not in the sense I set out to present something erroneously, although that also happens extensively from various lobby groups, and these are, this is all part of the world. But bias in the sense that you can't get out of your own skin, your own interpretation of the text you're looking at is mediated by your own experiences of life, and the more you deny this, the more your blind spot grows, and you and the consequences are actually worse than if you acknowledge it and work with it and try to balance it in an ethical way, not in the sense of I have to be as accurate as possible, because accurate to what, but in an ethical way as a responsible person in society, essentially.
Thank you, Mona, and thank you all again for a very enriching discussion this evening. And thank you for being here.